Today on the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast, we're going to be covering a lot of different stuff. We're going to be showing you a bunch of videos in and out. We're going to show you how Anthony Fauci and Garland, the AG, are both two... I won't say it. We got a good show for you today. A lot of stuff to cover.
Why aren't the people in Washington putting themselves in harm's way? Why aren't they walking the walk as well as talking the talk? Their position in Washington is to do the will of the people. I don't see anybody in Washington doing the will of the people anymore. The only one who really puts his money where his mouth is Dennis Michael Lynch.
Hello, I am DML, and you are listening to the Dennis Michael Lynch podcast. The exclusive sponsor of this program is DMLCBD.com. Go there today and get the best CBD products that can make you feel great again. This podcast is for independent thinkers who want to recapture the great American experience, and they know it all starts with sharing the unfiltered facts, truth, and opinions I give you every day. Today's podcast will both shine a light on the solutions that can fix our nation's biggest problems, and it will make you the smartest person in the room. Here we go.
We're going to start off the program today with a little bit of fun. Most of you know that I don't like Alec Baldwin. In fact, I despise him. I've already told the story on this program before why that is, and so I'm not going to bog you down with that same story again. However, I have been asked by people if I would please play the video, the portion of the film that I was talking about that Alec Baldwin participated in, that I produced, and what sort of started the battleground, if you will, the hatred between Dennis Michael Lynch and Alec Baldwin. And believe me when I tell you it's deep. He blocked me on Instagram. He blocks me on Twitter. We give each other's faces, ugly little faces, when we see each other at the gym, although that doesn't happen anymore because I've moved away. But regardless, what we're going to do here is we're going to show you the portion of a film I made where Alec Baldwin and I are together at a park with another man. The other man is named Dan. There's a couple things I want you to watch for this 1.5 minute video, which we're about to play. Number one is that Alec Baldwin goes into a massive sneeze attack. And I want you to watch. We didn't catch it all on camera because it was going back and forth, but he is sneezing into his hand and he is offered a handkerchief and he turns it down. That's number one. But number two is watch the way he rudely treats me when he finds out that I am the person who bought him a gift, when I brought him a gift. And that's that. So we're going to start off with that real quick just to have a little fun here on the program today. And then we're going to get into some other different things here. All right, let's cue up that video and play it.
Read all these.
I just love to write.
Apparently you do.
Yeah, obviously.
Let me ask you a question. I looked through Dan's papers. Nobody goes to more of those events than you do. How would you explain what those parties are like to somebody who's never been here before, who has only seen it on entertainment TV or
I wonder
This is the ass kissing part of the documentary, because I read online that you like cigars, and so do you know where those are from?
No, I don't.
I got them from a place in Massapequa right outside your old house. So it's called the Little Cigar Factory, and they hand roll them. And I asked them to, give me the best for you.
I'm fine, thank you.
Just a gift. I'm a big fan.
And this is Dominican tobacco with a Massapequa wrapper leaf. Smell the goodness.
and they're high rated.
Well, that's great. Thank you. You didn't have to do this. Why did you do this? This is from you? Oh, thank you.
Yeah, that's Alec Baldwin. That's how it all started. That's how it started. And he didn't like me from that moment forward. Last thing I'll do is bring that man a cigar ever again. I guess the good news is that I got out of it without being shot. So good for me. Anyway, moving on. There is a video that I want you to watch, and it is out of California. It is of a school board meeting. It's amazing how school board meetings, I couldn't pay you to watch a school board meeting 2 years ago, but now school board meetings are like, I don't know. They're the most interesting 5-minute videos you can watch. There is a mother, you're going to watch her right now. She gets up and she's talking about COVID-19 and how the vaccine mandates and mask mandates for children are ridiculous. And I agree with her 110%. I agree with her. It's so stupid. And at the end of the video, and you got to listen closely, at the end of the video, this woman is given an FU by one of the board members. One of the board members gives a big, huge FU. It's hard to hear. You have to trust me on it. It comes at the end. But I want you to listen to what this mother says that triggers a school board member to say FU. Play the video.
The shot that has a 0.0027% fatality rate in children 0 to 19, and children infected with COVID have a 99.9937% survival rate. The infection fatality rate is so low that Pfizer's clinical trials involved 2,300 kids did not detect any health benefits at all from the shot. Pfizer has not demonstrated any health benefits for children, and the potential risk for children are detrimental. The Pfizer mRNA vaccine causes horrific side effects, particularly heart inflammation in children 12 through 24. We are vaccinating 28 million kids to maybe save 14 lives. Today, if you guys were aware, FDA was live and they approved the vaccine for children ages 5 through 11. One of the FDA voting members stated, we're never gonna learn about how safe the vaccine is until we start giving it. That is sick and inhumane. Today's hospitals are swamped with patients having blood clots, heart conditions, and suicide injuries. And you say wellness together, shame on you, Los Al School Board. If you care for wellness, I urge you to be the first to say no mandates for our children. What side of history are you willing to participate? Leave our children alone. Let them be kids and enjoy one another. Let them breathe again and smile again. Emailing and calling, like you say, isn't going to help. If you guys are aware of back in 2019, there was a bill passed by PAN, AB 276, making it impossible for children to go to in-person school unless they were fully vaccinated, as well as getting a medical exemption. Doctors were scared to give them because their license would be taken away. If you remember parents pounding on walls at the state capitol in 2019 in hopes that their voices would be heard, their voices were shamed, kind of like Scott just said. We are selfish for being vocal. Scott, we are vocal because we are our children's biggest advocates. Okay? Choose your own path, Scott. Choose your own path. That was very rude of you to say parents are selfish. You say
Margaret's next. Thank you. Your time's up. Fuck you.
There you go. At the very end there, you could hear her say, and excuse my profanity, but fuck you. What did that woman say? Let me repeat it in part. She said that the vaccines for children and masks for children are ridiculous because the death rate is non-existent. And she basically said to the one member of the school board there, Scott, hey, do what's good for you. You want to wear your mask and give yourself a sense of protection? You want to go get yourself vaccinated? You want to get boosters? Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. I'm not calling you a villain or stupid for doing something that you feel is best for your body, but don't put your fears into my child. Don't tell me that I got to freaking play Russian roulette with my children's breathing, with my children's social life, with my children's mental health. Don't say I got to put a jab in my kid's arm in order to be able to go to school because you feel better if you've got a mask on. You feel better if you've got some vaccine in your arm. And so what does she get from the school board? A big fuck you. Now, they issued an apology, but it doesn't matter because what that does, that video right there describes a few things. Number one, these school board members, as empowered as parents now feel going to school board meetings, even though this will end up putting you likely on a terrorist watch list because you are a domestic terrorist if you go to a school board and push back against a vaccine or push back against a mask mandate. both of them useless for your child. So you are if you don't want them to be taught about critical race theory, you are a racist, you are a domestic terrorist. So as powerful as that school board meeting has become for parents, it also has become a power trip for the school board meetings, the school board members, who now get to see themselves on television, who now sit on the high court and look down at you and tell you how long you can and cannot speak for and what you can and cannot say. In Minnesota, they are now making you, if you want to speak, you have to say your physical address before you speak. Yeah. Dennis Lynch, 123 Mockingbird Lane. Okay, so basically what I've done is I've announced to everybody who disagrees with me to come destroy my home, because that's what these radicals do. The school boards are made up primarily, from what I've been able to see, of disgusting human beings. There's a few good ones sprinkled throughout. But unfortunately, the conservative voices in academia, the conservative voices in education, they're just not heard. The liberals own it. So I hope that parents continue to go to these school board meetings and continue to voice up, even if you are marked as a domestic terrorist. With that being said, I'm going to, I have an immigration story here I want to talk about in a second, but I want to go to something that you've probably seen because it's the #1 trending story on the DML News app. And if you don't have the DML News app, you got to get it. You can get it for free. You could download it right now from the Google Play Store for your Android. You could download it right now for your iPhone or your iPad from the Apple App Store. Just search for the DML News app. You'll get it. High rated. We're always towards the top. You would see that Senator Cotton totally ripped into AG Garland. Now, for those of you who don't remember, Merrick Garland was on the list for Barack Obama. Barack Obama wanted to put him onto the Supreme Court when there was an opening. But the good thing is back then, the Senate was run by the Republicans. And so they kept on stalling there ever being a hearing to basically vet Garland, if you will. And so he never made it to the Supreme Court, thank goodness. Now, remember, Garland is the one who issued a memorandum about the fact that you are indeed a domestic terrorist if you get up at school board meetings and start doing what it is you just watched that woman do. Now, this was all triggered, and you know it was all triggered by that father in Virginia, in Loudoun, whose daughter was raped, and he went to go voice his frustration at the school board. And you know, when you talk about terrorism, when you talk about violence, I mean, think about how controlled that father is. Many fathers would have taken that situation into their own hands and done it differently. That guy went the safe route, and yet still, he was pummeled by police, and he has been vilified by the entire press corps around the world. Garland, as far as I'm concerned, is a very weak man, very weak. He looks like, I often call Biden Magoo. Garland looks like Magoo with a brain. Watch this video of Senator Cotton. It's 3 minutes, but it's worth every single last second. Watch Senator Cotton absolutely shred Garland for his memorandum about you being a domestic terrorist because you don't want vaccines, CRT, or mask mandates. Play the video.
Even though parents at school boards aren't within federal jurisdiction, there's no doubt that federal officials are. You keep saying senators. Have you started an investigation into the harassment of Senator Kyrsten Sinema in a bathroom because she won't go along with the Democratic Party's big tax and spend agenda? That is a sitting United States senator being harassed in a bathroom.
I don't know whether the senator has referred the matter to the Justice Department or not.
You've cited as the basis for that directive the National School Board Association's letter of September 29th. Was that directive being prepared before September 29th, before the School Board Association letter was issued?
I don't believe so. Certainly, I didn't have any idea.
So it was only prepared to, okay, I think that answers the
I
question.
already answered that
So,
question
so you
before.
keep citing the school board letter and news reports.
Right.
One of the news reports cited in that letter, which you presumably mean, is from Loudoun County, Virginia.
No, that's not. That is not what I was talking about.
Well, you keep citing news reports, and that's the most prominent news report that anyone in America has seen. That refers to Scott Smith, whose 15-year-old daughter was raped. She was raped in a bathroom by a boy wearing girls' clothes, and the Loudoun County School Board covered it up because it would have interfered with their transgendered policy during Pride Month. And that man, Scott Smith, because he went to a school board and tried to defend his daughter's rights, was condemned internationally. Do you apologize to Scott Smith and his 15-year-old daughter, Judge?
Senator, anyone whose child was raped is the most horrific crime I can imagine, and is certainly entitled and protected by the First Amendment to protest to their school board about this.
But he was cited by the School Board Association
That's fine,
as a
but that's
domestic
not-
terrorist, which we now know that letter and those reports were the basis for your.
No, Senator,
this is
that's wrong.
Shameful. Judge, this is shameful.
That's-
This testimony, your directive, your performance is shameful.
That's not.
Thank God you are not on the Supreme Court. You should resign in disgrace, Judge.
Yes, he should. Look at that deer in headlight right there. Resign tomorrow, but he won't. Because if you notice, he did not apologize to that father in Loudoun County. A Democrat will never apologize. A Democrat will always be violent. A Democrat will always be demented. And if you look at that man right there, he is so over his head. And what he did was he wrote a letter based on a news report. He wrote a letter based on a freaking union-based bunch of asses complaining that parents are unhappy with what's going on in their child's school. You know, having a child is something that's very intimate. It's the most important thing in your life. I just had a conversation last night with my wife about this in part. The number one role that I have as a father in this world is to protect my children against everything and anything. That is my number one job, is to provide and to protect my children. The government doesn't help me do that. I'm on my own. When my kid needs to learn how to ride a bike, I don't get my senator to come down and help me. When my child falls out of a tree, my representative doesn't come and pick him or her up. When my kid's running a high temperature at 3 o'clock in the morning, I don't have my assemblyman coming and giving children's Tylenol at 3 o'clock in the morning. When my other child is sick with whatever it may be, struggling with homework, I don't have anybody from the government, local or otherwise, coming over to the house and doing homework during dinner time. That is my responsibility. It's the responsibility of my wife. So why all of a sudden do we lose that power? Why all of a sudden do we lose that responsibility when it comes to school? Why are we supposed to hand over to school boards and radical teachers that are basically part of a radical teachers union? We know that about 96 to 97% of all teachers in the United States are freaking liberal. And all of a sudden, we're going to just give up our children and say, here, you take it over. You teach them whatever it is that you think they should be taught. Baloney. And that's why parents are stepping up. That's not domestic terrorism. That's hero. That's heroism. Moving on for a second, I want to tell you about something that's going on with immigration. And it's so freaking frustrating that I have to read this to you, because the country is falling off the cliff on a daily basis on so many different things. And you would think that the Department of Homeland Security and the Department of Justice and all these different government agencies would be out looking for you. They want to make sure that you're safe. They're going to force you to put a jab in your arm because they care about your life and they care about the life of other Americans. They want you to wear a mask because you're not smart enough to realize the fact that you need a mask in order to be able to survive. They care about you so much And yet they let illegal aliens into this country, unvetted, untested. We have no idea where they're from or who they are and what their intentions are, but it doesn't matter. The Department of Homeland Security, this is as of yesterday, this is right out of the Washington Times. The Department of Homeland Security has expanded its list of locations off limits for enforcement to include anywhere near graveyards, community organization offices, or any area where children gather, effectively blocking officers from making arrests across many urban areas. So if you are an ICE agent, you can't do any of this stuff. You cannot, if you've got an MS-13 member going to visit somebody they killed, which is highly doubtful, at a graveyard, you can't do anything. The rules issued Wednesday are designed to give illegal immigrants and others associated with them access to essential services without fear of arrest, said Homeland Security Secretary Alejandro Mayorkas, another absolute Magoo figure, radical lefty. So we're more worried about mommy and daddy wanting to protect their child against radical, crazy school boards and school teachers. And I don't mean to blast every school teacher because I know a lot of teachers. My best friend is a teacher, and he doesn't fall into the category of these crazy nuts. But we can't defend our children without being called domestic terrorists. But don't worry, when you have a real terrorist here domestically, an MS-13 member, or somebody who's over here from the Middle East, somebody who can even wind up doing a DWI. I just did a story, how many days ago, last week, about a DWI where an illegal alien killed a 5-year-old child here, a little girl here in Florida. What's that? That's not terrorism. Let me tell you something. That mother who was driving the car where her little daughter was killed in the back, that's terrorizing. Go tell that mother that she hasn't lived through terrorism. A person who had no right being in this country comes in here and kills a little girl. But yet had that illegal alien the day before had a warrant and was at a graveyard or any community organization offices, and ICE had a warrant out for him, they wouldn't have been able to touch him. And then the next day he goes and he kills an American. That's how screwed up things are in this country. I'm also going to tell you right now, we're going to play a couple of videos coming up. 2 videos, 2 pictures. And I'm going to give you a fair warning right now. There's profanity and there is some sexually explicit stuff. So if you've got a kid watching, you may want to tell that kid to get out of the room right now. And I'm playing these things here. I had to think about whether or not I would play them or not, but I had to because I don't know if parents know enough about what's out there. And I'm specifically talking about a video that I'm going to play toward the latter part of these videos here. But I start off with a black man in a subway who hits a woman. We've been jammed down our throat that Black Lives Matter and then blacks aren't given fair treatment. My ass. My ass. This whole one-way narrative of that white people are the violent people and white people are the bad people and black people are just all victims. Okay. I'm going to cue this video up for you. Ashley, you could put it up without actually hitting play yet. This video is off Twitter, and there's wording on there. You don't have to read the wording. Basically, this guy comes onto a train and just starts rambling, just starts talking randomly and crazy stuff. And you could see his demeanor when we play the video. But ultimately, a woman tells him to take a chill pill and watch what happens. Play the video, Ash.
My train riding and my feet.
Say it to my face now. Say it to my face now. Tell me to take a chill pill. Say the word chill pill.
Oh.
Say the word chill pill.
Oh.
Say the word chill pill.
Oh.
So a bunch of different things there. Number one is the despicable human being that would hit a woman, punch her in the face like that, is just grotesque. But the fact that other men stood there on that subway and did nothing, what weak, spineless human beings. If I were standing there and that woman was hit in front of me, let me tell you something. That guy would be on his back in about probably 2 seconds or less. The fact that those guys stood, and let me tell you something, if it was my wife or one of my daughters, he'd probably be, I may be in prison today. Nothing will happen to that guy. Nothing will happen to him. Put up the next picture. This is a photo. Very hard for you to read because of the colorization, but I will read it to you. If you can't see it, it is a black girl sitting, and I believe this was done at a university, a black girl sitting at a table, and there are masks and gloves for people. And it says this: free masks and gloves for minorities only, $10 per item for white people. So if you're at a school and you want to have a mask or you want to have some gloves and you're white, you better chalk up $10. But if you're a minority, you get it for $0. She's allowed to keep that table up. Can you imagine if we put up a table that said, if you're black, pay $10. If you're white, it's for free. I would be hit with a hate crime. The table would have been ripped down. Black Lives Matter would have been marching, and somebody would have gotten hit in the face. Just want to let you know about the double standards. But she had no problem. They allowed her to have that there. Play the next one. This is a man. It looks like a homeless man sitting on a sidewalk. Obviously, he is a disturbed human being. I don't know if he's drunk, stoned, or maybe just mentally not firing on all cylinders. Maybe a combination of all three. But a man walks by, a black man walks by. And as he walks by, I don't know if you'll be able to see it completely on the video, but he pours a drink on this innocent man's head. Go ahead. How disgusting. How disgusting is that? Nothing will happen to that guy. Nothing will happen to him at all. He'll just keep on walking on, doing his business. But if it was a white guy pouring a drink on a black man's head, you could assure yourself of this: the media and everybody else would be hunting for that white man. No doubt. The next video is the one where I have to apologize in advance, and it's going to be hard for some of you to listen to this. But the reason why I play this is because I want you to realize that when your children are on TikTok, Chinese-owned TikTok, when your children are on Chinese-owned TikTok, this is what they're watching.
I was at like a sex dungeon at this bar in Chicago once. It's like a basement. You had to take off your clothes to get down there. You get down there, there's a bunch of people just fucking in the dark. So I got fucked by like 4 random people, and they all came in me, which was crazy. Somebody probably peed on me down there too. That probably happened. There's just a lot of stuff. There's a lot of fluid around.
I'm sorry to have to play that for you, but ultimately TikTok is a poisonous place, and you have to keep your children off that. That's America today. That's America today. Keep your children off TikTok. Go to the last one, Ashley. Put up the last one. That is a trans guy right there. Now, you may know Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse is the white kid who was in Wisconsin during the Black Lives Matter riots and was attacked and wound up having to use his gun and wound up shooting and killing somebody. His trial is now started. And you could see that this piece of crap right here, if Kyle Rittenhouse walks, the U.S. is going to fucking burn down. Absolutely no one is going to take that shit. It will be last summer all over again, if not worse. This is what you're getting. Look at that piece of crap. Allowed to say that kind of thing. Just reporting to you what's going on. All right, Ash, cut out of it. I'm going to conclude here with a story out of the Daily Mail worth reading to you. Just 2 months ago, Florida was experiencing the worst COVID-19 surge in the United States. The Sunshine State had the highest 7-day average of cases per day, as well as the highest hospitalization rate in the country. Despite these grim metrics, Governor Ron DeSantis did not issue new lockdowns, closures, or stay-at-home orders, arguing that the spike was due to a seasonal pattern of the virus and urging residents to get vaccinated. Now, with Halloween and Thanksgiving right around the corner, the COVID crisis looks really different in Florida. Inexplicably, cases and deaths have been going down despite DeSantis implementing no new mitigation measures. Ron DeSantis hasn't put in any lockdowns. He hasn't put in any mandates. In fact, he's gone after school districts that said you're going to force a kid to wear a mask. And I reported to you, I think it was about a week or two ago, that the study shows school districts that forced the mandate, meaning that they ignored Ron DeSantis, had a higher rate of COVID than those that did not have the masks mandated. That's it. This is similar to what has been seen nationwide as COVID-related infections and fatalities in the U.S. dropped to the lowest levels recorded since April of 2021. Additionally, the state is doing just as well as California, despite the West Coast state taking a very strict approach, including implementing mask mandates, limiting gatherings, and closing bars and indoor dining at restaurants. Experts say COVID waves usually occur in a 2-month cycle, with infections rising for 2 months before declining. And instead of trying to prevent the cycle from occurring, DeSantis just let it ride out. Short story, Ron DeSantis has been playing this perfectly, and that's why Ron DeSantis should be the next president of the United States. I conclude here after showing you that little, after giving you that report there from the Daily Mail about Ron DeSantis allowing life to actually work itself. Let's look at Anthony Fauci one more time, as he is this time interviewed by the highly discredited Katie Couric, who wants to blame the unvaccinated for what may be the next variant.
We know we can deal with the Delta variant really quite well. My concern is that if we allow there to be smoldering infection into the fall and into the winter, because those 93 million people are not getting vaccinated for the most part, my concern would be you may allow a variant that we haven't even recognized yet to come along and, in fact, be better at transmitting and more serious than the Delta. We haven't seen that yet. So rather than be worrying about these others that are around, let's make sure we don't let new ones come in.
Well, are unvaccinated people the reason we're seeing these new strains? And will an increase in vaccinations mitigate the virus morphing in multiple ways?
Well, that's a good one, because the answer is short, yes.
Okay.
Two absolute idiots on one screen in one day. That's Katie Couric from her beautiful East Hampton home, right down the block from where I used to live. The discredited piece of garbage she is, talking to the discredited piece of garbage known as Anthony Fauci. So I started this program with a school board member telling a woman who wanted to protect her children to basically go fuck herself. And so if I may use that language and point it towards Anthony Fauci, I'll take the higher road. I think Anthony Fauci speaks for himself. That's it for me on this Thursday. We'll be with you again tomorrow, God willing. Today's program was sort of us testing a way to see if we can't get a lot of videos in and out. If you want to watch the videos and you want to watch this program versus just listening to it, it's very easy. Go to teamdml.com, take a look at the different memberships we have there, sign up for a membership. As far as those of you who just say, I think I'm just going to listen, it may be a little tough from time to time when it comes to a program like this for you to understand what we're talking about without seeing the video itself. But the world is gone video, and so too shall we. All right, that's it for me. Don't forget, I reminded you of this yesterday. I'm going to remind you again today. The DMLCBD.com/mint. That's the link you want if you want to buy one, get one free. on the DML CBD mints. There's never been a more important time to boost that immune system, improve your sleep, lower the anxiety, and of course, diminish the pain. That's the best part of it for me, to be honest. So dmlcbd.com/mint, buy one, get one free. It ends on October 31st. Also, there is a coupon that many of you received on your August 28th order if you're one of the people who participated in my birthday special. That coupon ends October 31st. It will be no good on November 1st. You try to go put it in the website on November 1st, it's not going to work. So if you have your coupon, go use it. Get something now. We're not going to have another coupon code for the rest of the season. For the rest of the year, I should say. And we're not going to have another BOGO for the rest of the year. So you really want to get in and take care of that now. Do not let that go to the wayside. So if you don't have your coupon, you can email my daughter, Ashley. You see, I've referred to her a bunch of times here in the program. She's helping me with all this video stuff. Email her at Ashley, ASHLEY, at DMLCBD.com. She'll help you out with the coupon. All right, that's it for me. Until the next time, may God bless you, our troops, these United States, your entire family, and that mom who stood up for herself and was told to go F herself. Yeah. You know, domestic terrorists in my book. You're a hero in my book.
This podcast is produced by Anita Griffey, Lori McLean, and yours truly. And you could subscribe by going to the Apple Podcasts page and search for Dennis Michael Lynch Podcasts. And make sure to leave us a 5-star review. Or you can download the DML News app from the Google Play Store for Android phones and the Apple App Store for iPhones. And do not forget to visit our sponsor, DMLCBD.com, so this way you can feel great again.